All right, welcome back, everybody. Good to have you back. Thank you for still staying tuned. Thank you for joining us. It's good to have us back. Last time we had the technical director of NTIC, also the one in charge of the End Youth Football Academy in Abuja. And right here we have the coach with us now, the Odogu himself.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember
the Emperor, the Conqueror.
The first time I saw him, he had this composure that I really like about him. He had this around him.
Always nice shoes.
That speaks volume, okay. And he's always dressing well.
Yeah,
he's a figure to imitate. Not that there are some coaches that will just come to stand in the grass and say, "Make I just dress anyhow." But he is always intentional about his appearance. We have Mr. Enerst Patrick here with us, the head coach of End Youth Football Academy. Coach, how far?
Well, I'm doing good. Yeah, nice to be here.
It's nice to be. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for being here. Thank you for what you do. I met you recently, just like I said, and I've been able to pick some very good things from your composure, the way you see things, the way you try to analyze situations when they come. And I must really give you kudos. These are the kind of people that I can proudly say that we should give support to. Yeah. In future, you can coach the Nigerian under 17. You can do well, because I love the way you run your games. This is coming from you. I'm trying to let out my mind out so that you know that I see you as a positive person.
Thank you so
and
much.
You have stuff to give to the nation. So how are you, sir?
I'm fine.
Again. Yeah. So tell us, who is Mr. Patrick Enerst?
Well, he's a coach who has always believed in his dreams and made up his mind to give it his all.
So what started the dream?
Back then in secondary school, I think sometime far back anyways, I think in my SS2 or so, I was seeing a lot of young kids, like playing street football. And I felt like, why not just put these guys together and see if we can get something out of it. And I called about 4 of them. I said, okay, look, I'll be. Then I was still playing anyway. I said, I'll be teaching you, I'll be coaching you. From the 4, they increased to, like, the next training session was about 20. Also, I felt like, so why not just have a team? Because we were always losing, like, this area football matches I normally play. Our area, we were always losing to the other side. I said, okay, fine. I guess it's time for us to change the narratives. So when I put them together, after about a few weeks, we started winning the other area. And people started taking notice.
Okay.
And the team continued to grow from there.
Okay. And
I said, okay, fine. Instead of me playing, because, I was playing, but I was someone that I hated fitness training. I said, okay, instead of me stressing myself, I guess it's time for me to even go into this coaching stuff. And that was how I started.
Okay, wonderful stuff. But where were you? Which area is it? Abuja here?
Yeah, in Abuja here. In Abuja, area called Jabi.
So you have always been in Abuja?
Yes, I came to Abuja very, very, very early.
So how has been life with End Youth, with NTIC?
Well, in life sometimes you pray to meet the right people, those who will believe in what you do and give you the freedom needed to succeed. That was actually what happened. I met Mr. Enerst. Then I just won the Dreamland Embassy of Hungary Cup in 2018. Yeah, I won in 2018.
Okay.
I think I won it back to back. I think in 2018, 2019 also.
Okay.
So around that time, was it December or so? One of my boys that played under me said, "Oh, they're looking for a coach." I never wanted to go because then I was handling a team. It was so hard for me. He said, okay, the guy actually tricked me into accepting the job anyways, because that place was like my comfort zone. So when we spoke, I didn't know it was kind of an interview. It was like asking me questions.
When you met him?
Yeah, when I met him, yeah. So then the next thing he said, okay, you follow me to Kaduna to scout for some players. I said, okay. I went with him to Kaduna.
Just like that.
Just like that. The only time I said I should bring my CV, and then I didn't have any CV. I was just coaching. No CV.
Passion.
So the guy helped me, got the CV together, and he just asked me, how much am I going to pay you? Then I was scared of the figure even because where I was coming from, it was hard for me to say. I said, okay, you tell me how much you're going to pay. And thank God I even allowed him to say it.
That would be it. He would have landed you into a big one.
And that was hard. And it's been a wonderful journey so far. Like, I have the freedom to work. I have the freedom to implement my ideas. And you all are seeing the results.
So coach, there's this thing I normally say, that every team is a reflection of the coach.
Okay.
So either on the field of play, the character of the boys and everything, every team is a reflection of the coach. So how would you say you've influenced your boys, both on the field of play and outside the field of play?
In coaching we have the authoritarians, we have the ones who say maybe a little bit democratic, the ones who want to relate with the players and hear their opinion. So what I do is in as much as sometimes I'm tough on the players, there are times also there are things I tend to overlook in certain situations. Now, I believe so much in development. Why we have a lot of issues is that at this level, most people just want to win. And when you always want to win, you put a lot of pressure on yourself and the team, which will lead to a lot of issues. Sometimes, having issues with referees and because you want to win.
Yeah.
So, but because I believe in development, I try to make the players understand that, look, there are games that no matter how good you play, you may not win. And in such a situation, even when you see me talk to the referee, you don't have any right to talk to the referee because he may officiate your next game, I may not be there. So you have to maintain that discipline at all times because I always believe that talent is never enough. That no matter how talented you are, if you are not disciplined, I give them instances. A lot of players, even those who have played under me before, I told them, look, there are some of these guys better than you. And they know that the first criteria I look at when you come to my team is discipline. So I try to make them disciplined. I try to make them calm because an indisciplined player, if you invest on a player who is not disciplined, you'll just be wasting your money. No matter how high he goes, it's just a matter of time. He'll come crashing down. So I always want my players to maintain that discipline at all times.
So I intentionally asked that question because we all participate in the Elite League, right? So I've seen him on the touchline and how he comports his voice and how, there are so many times they've had referee decision go against them and the player wants to react. And his reaction from the bench is more like, guys, focus on the game, leave the referees. And this is something that I actually commend you, especially dealing with these boys from the youth, because as we all know, like he rightly said, if as a player you're not disciplined, then you're going nowhere. So no matter the talent you have, if you don't have the discipline, you're going nowhere, right? So it boils back to Choma, you always football education and everything. These are things that the youth football they should know, and the coaches and the sport administrator at the youth level should be able to put in these boys from when they are small, because this is their formative age. You can easily mold them at this stage than when they get to a certain stage and they're out of hand.
Speaking on that, I'm very impressed with having this conversation. I've always wanted him to sit on this couch. Because I know we share the same ideologies. Sorry, because we've spoken on the touchlines, and off. So the thing about football is football has come a long way. It's coming a long way. It has met many things, entertainment, tourism, religion, culture. But these days we're fighting for football to meet education. And people are acting like, it's brand new. When we spoke to the TM, he said something about being a PhD teacher. And I laughed inside of me because I taught the classroom for 5 years. I did nursery and primary school. And I can tell you, I can sit down and argue that if you have never, ever been an educator, you might not make it in football. I'm telling you the truth. If you don't know how to run the education sector, you might find it hard to make it in football.
When you say to make it, is it to run a football academy or
to run a football academy? Even as a footballer, if you don't have a sort of education, because when I talk about education, it's not just the one you get only in the four walls of a classroom. Yeah. These guys get education on and off the pitch. They get education by talking to their teammates. You get education by getting first aid, listening to your coach. When he spoke about discipline, I actually did a course with him on leadership. I have to throw that in, you guys. We're getting educated, right, coach? And it's a beautiful thing. He doesn't stop. Not because he's on this couch or they are here in this room, but his ability to keep pushing for education, it shows in everything they do. The way he dresses, the way he talks, the way he reasons. Because I always argue with them during, you guys know me, during Abuja Elite League. I tell them, if I'm looking at your player, I can tell the kind of coach you are. If your player speaks, you don't have to speak, polished, quaint English. But the way your player carries himself tells me a lot about the coach. So when I met them, I had to find out if they had been in this competition before, and I was told that they were newcomers. So kudos to everything you're doing, and keep doing it. Keep getting that education and keep passing it on to the boys.
Too many flowers today. Everybody
flowers.
Too many flowers today.
But that's the thing. We have to say this.
But my own on the place of discipline. Let's say, coach, you have a talented player, but he has challenge with discipline.
Balotelli.
No, not
you
about
had to
Balotelli.
Go there.
So for you, have you experienced it before, number one?
Yes.
That is talented, and you see the willingness in him that he wants to be better. How do you handle such?
Well, you find a way to manage a player. You can always find a balance, because most times, because of where they're coming from, like I do tell people, I say, look, you cannot judge someone, when you've not actually taught him. Okay, now this person has a very bad behavior. What has he been listening to? What has he been reading? Where is he coming from? You have to look at all this. And sometimes his background, the area. Imagine someone like where I stay, someone that stays in Jabi. There's a kind of behavior that kind of person will portray. It now takes your management skills. That's why that leadership course also comes into play. Okay, how do I balance this? Yes, there are those that you cannot really do anything about, but there are those that are ready to change. Some even act on impulse. Sometimes they do certain things and at the end they come back, coach, sorry for this thing that I did. It doesn't mean they will not do it again. But you just have to find the balance.
And you'll be able to see the willingness in the boy that is always ready to learn. It's just because of the challenge of cultural challenge or where he came out from. It's still there, so you have to be able to break it.
I've had a player confide in me about what happens in their house, stuff between the parents. And so at a point, because he was having those issues, I had to say to him, look, what is happening to you? And I said, okay, this is. I talked to him, and somehow I think his behavior has changed to some extent. Yeah, there's something about the weakness. Like my boss will always say, you cannot completely take the weakness away. You can always find a way to manage the weakness.
To manage it. Wonderful stuff.
So it's good to put it out there that most times the mindset where these children are coming from, home, also affect their performance.
Play factor.
Yeah.
So this is also the place of where the roles of the sport administrator, the coaches,
how they manage.
How do you manage these kids? It's
various behavioral traits.
It's not just about you harnessing their talent. It's also you helping them to develop.
Yeah.
So we see football today as an escape. As a lot of people see football as an escape from depression and everything, just to help the boys or the kids to have a focus, something else to focus on.
Okay.
So this is also something that you have to put that in mind when dealing with kids.
Okay.
Yeah.
So going to end youth now, tell us your kind of structure. What do you trying to do to implement the way you play?
Okay, we have a curriculum. We have like the U7, 9, 11, 14. We have 17. We have the elites.
Okay.
This morning I was looking because there's this tournament we are playing. This kids soccer league we are playing. I was looking at the table and I discovered that the U9 are actually first after the first round, U11 the same thing, then U14 they are fifth or so. Now I'm beginning to see that okay, there's an issue here now because there's supposed to be a progression. We're expecting the U14 to move up, you know, but now that means that there's an issue now, so I have to go back and visit it. What we want to see, for instance, Chinedu, was it last year or so, the AMAC under 16 or so, he was the best. 2 years ago, he was the best goalkeeper, U15. And now he's with the U17. That is progression. That's what we want to see. We want to see the player move from U9 to 11 to 14. Beautiful. You know, because if you just have elite players, good players, what happens to them when they leave? Now starts going out to look for players and stuff like that. So we want to see progression. We want to see our players grow from one level to another level. And where do you teach them those football philosophies? At a very young age. Once the player is 15, most of the mind is already formed. It becomes very difficult. But if the player is 7, 9, you can see bend the player, you know. So we are very, very particular about that U9 and U13.
So that has been the benchmark.
Yeah.
But for you as a coach, what's your play pattern that you feel, your philosophy? How do you break down your teams?
I love good football. I love good football.
Okay.
But I have this mentality of, should I say, Anose Morio? You know,
I thought you would say Alonso kind of mentality.
No, he's always keeping it secret.
Not really.
So when you say Jose Morio, what do you mean?
He's somebody that believes in possibilities. People see him like just about winning. Yes, in the world we live today, you have to win. No matter how good you are. If you don't win, nobody remembers you. But in the course of winning also, you have to play well, because if you don't play well, you're not going to develop the players. So I think a kind of mixture of a little of Pep Guardiola and more of Anose Morio.
No Arteta.
No.
Alonso. Really?
No.
So more of a you prefer to play to your opponent's style. That's what Mourinho does.
Every coach tends to play to the strength of his team.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when we got into the Elite League, we look at the teams we are going to play against. We compare the strength and other stuff, and I said, look, if you go all out to play against these guys, we'll be in trouble. So what do? Sit back.
Wait.
We know our players are younger, so the other guys are going, because of they are going to get tired. So sit back, you know, absorb the pressure and use the counter on them. And it worked for us in the first round. Okay. Second round, what actually happened to us in the second round was we had a lot of injuries to our key players, about 5 key players, you know, but we just keep pushing on.
I could say that is correct, because I've always, there was a time I spoke with you and I challenged you that you have a super sub in your team. There's this guy, I've forgotten his name. Coach, this man always bring him on when he's like 60 something minutes, and this guy is going to get you a goal because now I understand the style. Wait to where your opponents are tired. Then he brings this guy. The guy is fast. He's not tall. He gets the ball and he always delivers. So it's a wonderful thing. But where I want to, in NTIC as a whole, what has been the major supporting factor that has helped you to deliver?
I would say the director, because
Mr. Enerst.
Yes, because you know, you may have these wonderful ideas. If there's nobody supporting you, they will just be ideas. They will never materialize. But each time I go to him with, okay, look, this is what we have to do. And sometimes he will just tell me, just run the team like your team. You know, so there's this
free hand to help you walk.
Okay, so I know actually we all know from the early stages of your Elite League, you guys were all performing and all of us were wowed, right? So but like you said, at the second half of the season, started dropping, performance started dropping, things started dropping. I don't know. For us, we think maybe they figured you guys out. So going forward, I don't know, what would you attribute that to, and how do you manage the player? Is this a place of your key players being injured? So if your key players are injured, how do you now manage the squad, the boys, and How do you get it?
Okay, now apart from injuries, I discover something again about the motivation.
Yeah.
Sometimes we got into the league, maybe we didn't even give ourselves enough chances of doing. So, like, it was a surprise to us. Like, oh, we can actually play this. We can actually win games like this. At a point, I think the players were no longer motivated, or they became complacent. Like, we've won a lot of games. We are doing well. We can just go in and do it. And
business as usual.
It happened. So, but after we lost, we lost like 3 straight games or so. Then everyone now realized that, look, we are beatable. So if you don't sit up, you are going to lose. Now challenge them. I should have done that. I should have set the targets earlier. So I realized very early. I challenge. I said, look, the target for us now should be for us to finish among the top 4. I knew I said that. We started pushing for the top 4. Results started coming. That's how you see. In the last game, they were like almost crying because we wanted to finish top 4 and we needed that win. They now played that draw. So I think going forward, there will always be a target.
Okay.
In the first round, there will be a target. In the second round, there will be a target. So they walk around that target.
That's good. So if I may ask, right, what has been your biggest challenge as a coach of youth? So challenge either financially or motivating the boys, or considering you're working with youth or you're working with young men.
And I want you to also answer that question in relation with your participation at NLO.
Okay. First, I see that the mentality of the players coming from outside is different from the mentality of the players that started with us.
Okay.
Because it's like we are going this way, the other ones are
going that way.
In the NLO, we had a lot of players coming late. And most of those players are the players coming from our side because their minds are probably they're already used to it. Unlike our players who started with us. He said something to me last match of the season that, look, you're going to experience, these things are going to happen
in the NLO.
Yeah. Worse things happen.
Yeah.
Like what?
Peace.
The officiating will always be issued. We would have finished top of that group. We defeated all the big teams, but we lost to some of the teams we shouldn't have lost to because of certain factors.
What sort of factors? Weather. Weather factors.
Let's say the Nigerian factor.
Okay.
What's the Nigerian factor? Money factor. Hunger factor.
Maybe I'll say it some other time, but
No, he's trying to be careful.
Are we allowing that?
Let's
Okay.
So because we had the officiating was so terrible, but the Elite League, we learned a lot from the Elite League, and it helped us in our first 3 games.
Exactly.
Now we had players coming from outside. Our players, the ones that started with us, they played without. They were a bit of fatigue, but the ones coming from outside, we discovered that they were. So after 2 games, some of them were already breaking down. But the ones that participated in the Elite League, because they were already used to playing week in, week out.
The intensity.
Yeah.
So now we know that, okay, look, if you are going to play the NLO, but for God's sake, how can you be playing every 2 days?
I think this was also mentioned by the technical director of the Football Academy.
It's like crazy. There's no how you play every 2 days. There is no how. In a league like that, imagine you playing 3 matches, 2 o'clock.
In the afternoon.
Synthetic
pitch.
No time for recovery, and there were a lot of things that affected us. But I think the most important thing is that we keep learning. And the Abuja Elite League, beautiful experience. Now, if that league had been something that would play every week, like the NLO, maybe it would have been different.
Yeah.
The result would have been different. So, what would you say, in comparison with your challenges at NLO, what would you say you wish we could do better apart from the calendar, that the 2-2-2 games? What would you say in your experience that you wish the football body could do better? Because while we are here, it's not just to talk about these challenges. We also talk about possible solutions from people that have experienced it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how long we'll talk about officiating in Nigeria. I don't know how long. I don't know if there's ever going to be a change, because the more you talk about it, the worse it gets. There is like, you see yeah, people say, oh, in Europe these things happen. In Europe, most times those things are mistakes. In Nigeria, it's intentional. That is the difference. Before the start of your match, you know you are going to lose. They make you know you are going to lose, and they are so rude. So, like, as if maybe you've been having issues with them. You know, you can make your point. They try to bully you from this before even the start of the game. And there's no how you bring a particular referee to officiate like 3 straight matches for just a team. At least you have to change. So this referee will officiate a match today, will officiate a match tomorrow, will officiate a match.
Probably it's just that's right.
It's not right. You know, and that is where some of those manipulations come in. Why will you use the same set of people? Why
over and over, set of referees over and over again. So I think it's a peek into a major issue.
Say something.
No, because I mean it's always been an issue, officiating
in the grassroots.
Yeah, in grassroots generally in the grassroots, because we've experienced it in the Elite League. Okay. We know it's happening in the NLO. We were opportune to see the mishap. I call it mishap in the match between Sporting Supreme and Jigawa. We could clearly see the video. We could see what's going on, and then it's sad.
In short, what can we do better, Coach?
It starts from the top. Okay. If because what I feel is that most times these guys are acting based on instruction. That's what I feel. Okay. That's what I feel. So if from the top they have the willingness for a change. Yeah. I think there will be a change.
The willingness for change. Yeah. Wonderful time. Going forward in N Youth, what are your goals for next period? You are still in the NLO or your health? Yeah. So going forward as the coach, what are your aspirations and goals?
Well, I want to see us gain promotion next season. For the Elite League, I want to see us parade a much younger team.
Wonderful.
Because, you know, concerning Chinedu, the first round there was a particular goalkeeper I used. When I watched some of the videos and I said, look, this guy is making these mistakes and is older than Chinedu. It's better for Chinedu to make this mistake. There will be room for improvement.
Wonderful.
So I announced, okay, if Chinedu makes a mistake, he's a young boy, he will. Learning. I brought him and you see the rest now is history.
Wonderful stuff. The final session, this is the best place I love most. Because you are in Nigeria, so I'm going to give you a lot of options. So I'm going to be asking you to pick in between players, our legends that have gone through the grassroots and have become someone influential, important. I start with the big one, JJ or Mikel.
Yes. Yes.
Very big one.
Not considering. Okay, you can consider their success. Anything, JJ or Mikel.
If I look at things like that,
Coach, I just need a straight answer. Let's see if you can look at.
Do you get
a bigger talent or
look at their talent? Whatever you want to do, what you want.
Who is better for you?
No, JJ.
If you are setting up a team, JJ, you will use JJ than a Mikel.
If I want with my kind of play, a player with discipline.
Yes.
Positional discipline, I'll go for Mikel.
Thank you. Vincent Yama.
Why did you force his hand to change?
No, I did not force his hand. Because he's a coach. I just wanted him to analyze it based. If you are a coach, who would you use?
Don't give him.
Just JJ or Mikel.
Who would you use? Because coaching style different. Just give him JJ or Mikel.
No pressure.
Don't pressure him. Don't
Next
change.
one, Taribo or Yobo?
Taribo or Yobo? Straight at Taribo.
Okay.
Wow. Osimhen or Rashidi?
Osimhen any day. Osimhen always.
Is it because you didn't really watch Rashidi?
I watched Rashidi. I watched him, but there's this thing Osimhen adds, this swag that he had.
We're going for the swagger now.
Let me ask one.
No, he's talented.
Sunday Olise or Ndidi? Your friend Ndidi?
No, Sunday Olise. Sunday Olise.
All right, wonderful stuff. Thank you so much for coming.
That's
for him. That's for him to
I shall not stand for that.
That's for him to pick.
Did it for me if you ask.
Did it for
We
you.
did ask you. No,
It's not for you. Wonderful stuff. Thank you so much, Coach Enerst. We actually put you on the spot for doing this, and I will say you've actually given a good account of yourself. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for turning up. Thank you. We wish Youth and NTIC the very best in their future aspiration. I would love to have you guys back, you and the technical director, where we'll be able to talk about what are the other things that you're doing. And for people out there that are just getting to know about NTIC, Jesus are also an avenue for them to know that there are organizations like this that are investing into the young boy and young girl's child's life. I want to wish you guys all the best. Coach Enerst is at the back end, the technical director. Thank you so much. And Coach Enerst, thank you so much also. Want to wish you guys the best. Before we go, final word from Chama.
Well, thank you so much. I feel honored again. I have to keep saying this. This has always been a dream and it has come true. I want to sit with youth on the couch and talk about their growth and development.
Wonderful.
Congratulations.
Eddie, final?
Yeah, well, it was a perfect session, and thank you for letting us into the world of youth and your goals and your aspirations.
I want to say we wish Chinedu the best in Ghana. Their first match is on Thursday. I'll be watching. I'll be rooting for the boys because we have other four boys in Abuja immediately that are there. So, Coach, final word before you go.
Well, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
All right. Thank you. See you guys. We'll see you next time. Bye. Everybody.